mountains?
Whatever you want to talk about.
All right, well, how long?
Very little.
Okay.
Makes for a great interview, I know.
Oh, we could just sit here and stare for a while.
Yeah.
I'm with Chris Allen, who is an improviser, improv coach, tour guide at Bill Speidel's Underground Tour, and mountain climber extraordinaire and all-around athlete.
I've been doing improv for about 5 years now, and initially I started out just by signing up to take a class. I'd never seen an improv show. I didn't know that there really were improv shows. I mean, I think I'd seen a couple of things when I was much younger, but I started doing stand-up, and so I just started thinking one day, oh wait, maybe improv classes, those exist, maybe that'll help me with stand-up, and so I just Googled improv classes, and I was like, oh, I have $200 and I'm free on Tuesday nights. So I signed up for an improv class like 10 minutes later, and that's how I got into it. And I started taking classes, and then I started going to see shows and started thinking, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, a couple miles away from me, and I'm not a part of it. So I started volunteering and bartending at the theater, and then started auditioning for stuff, and that's kind of how I got into it from there. I like taking classes, and I'm always trying to take some kind of a class. Like when I got out of college, I missed learning things, and so taking an improv class was just kind of one more step along. Like I took kickboxing classes for a while.
Wow.
I took a photography class, took an Arabic class, and just trying different things, and improv just kind of stuck with me. It was a lot of fun, and I often tell students I have now, like one of the people that I met in my 101 class, I officiated his wedding, so you're going to meet interesting people in these classes.
So you're licensed. That was something I should have had in your introduction. You're licensed to officiate a wedding.
Yeah, Glenn and Megan asked me to officiate their wedding. It was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Were you licensed before they asked you?
No, I'd never done that before. Yeah.
Where'd you get your license through?
Online. I think it was the Universal Life Church or something like that. Yeah, so I'm an ordained minister. I think it cost me $5. I played soccer and baseball for years because my parents made me when I was really young. And I was always, I tried so hard, and I was always the worst on the team, and everybody on the team hated me, and it was really, not a good experience. And so I started doing, theater and debate and stuff like that. And then when I was in my early 20s, mid-20s, I was kind of going through a rough time, and I was just like, I'm going to go climb Mount Si. I'm going to go hike up Mount Si, because I'd done it sometimes when I was younger, and it was like a Wednesday. I'd just been laid off from my job, and I started going up, and I had my dad's old big backpack. My dad had done Mount Rainier and a couple of things, and I was going up, and I passed two women who were like, oh, you have a huge backpack. Are you training to climb Mount Rainier? And I said, yes, I am training to climb Mount Rainier. And I decided, okay, I'm going to train and climb Mount Rainier. And so I started training, and I started hiking more often, and I started going to other places, and then I ended up going up Mount Rainier, and I really liked it. And
did you do that with a guide?
I did do that with a guide, yeah. I didn't make it up the first time. I was with a team that was really kind of slow, and we got hit with a big snowstorm on the way up. So it was just, the conditions weren't very good. And then a couple months later, I went up with a guide again, and we ended up getting up to the summit. And I really liked it, and I liked the challenge of it, and I liked the simplicity of it, and I liked the feeling that when you're done, unlike most things. When you get to the top of a mountain and there's nowhere else to climb, it's like, oh, okay, I'm done with this now. It's time to go back down, so there's no uncertainty there. I took a 2-week mountaineering kind of course where you go through the North Cascades, and you have two guides, and they teach you all this kinds of stuff, and it was really cool. It was there were 6 of us. After the first couple of days, 3 of them dropped out. So it was 3 of us and 2 guides. One of the guides had climbed Everest 5 times, and the other was a professional ice climber. And so they're just like, okay, well, so there's only 3 of you. We're going to make this a lot harder on you, and we're going to do a lot of stuff that we couldn't do with a larger group. And so we did Mount Shuckson, we did Forbidden Peak, we did the Liberty Bell Spire. We did a bunch of cool stuff, and that's kind of how I learned how to climb mountains. I've been into it ever since. Probably Forbidden Peak. That was intense. It was climbing up traversing a ridge, and it was maybe 2 feet wide with about a 2,000 foot drop on each side, and it was maybe that I don't know, that steep. And so you're climbing up, and you got big mountaineering boots on, and you're rock climbing up this super thin kind of razor ledge with this huge drop off on each side.
Yeah,
that was freaky. I swore a lot that day. I saw King of Kong in the theater when it first came out.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, about the World Championship of Donkey Kong. Oh, it's so fascinating. Anything with a good subculture. I like a good subculture movie. I find that so interesting. Because I mean, just I'm a part of a subculture that most people don't really understand or care about, and so I find it interesting to see other people that are living their lives within this subculture that other people don't seem to understand or care about.
Isn't everybody in some sort of subculture that knew?
I think so, yeah. Except for boring people.
I've
always said, I don't really. I mean, I like people that are into things, and I don't necessarily care what those things are. As long as you're into something, then you're interesting. If you're into collecting stamps, cool. If you're passionate about playing Donkey Kong, cool. If you're passionate about climbing, cool. But the people that don't really have interests, those people are, I don't know, boring. I always find those really uninteresting.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, good. Man, it was fun for you too. You were interesting.
Good.
They don't know how long we talk, but we talk a long time.